In the last topic, we learnt about motion of objects along a straight line. We also learnt many physical quantities like distance, displacement, speed, velocity, acceleration. In this part of the lesson, we will learn what causes motion, why does speed change with time, do all motions require a cause, and if all motions require a cause, what is the nature of the cause? So in this part of the lesson, we will make an attempt to find an answer to all these questions. Let's start this topic with an example. Take a ball and keep it on the ground. Now what do I have to do in order to set the ball in motion? You would say I have to kick it. And when you say that you have to kick it, means you have to apply force on the ball. Now what do I have to do in order to stop the ball? Once again, my answer would be I have to apply a stopping force on the ball in order to stop it. What do I have to do if I want to change the direction of motion of the ball? Once again, I have to apply force. If I have to stretch a rubber band, how can I do it? Once again, I will have to apply a pulling force on the rubber band. If I want to open the door, what should I do? I have to apply a pulling force. If I have to close the door, I have to apply a pushing force. If I want to move a cart in the forward direction, what will I do? I will apply a pushing force. So, what do we understand from all these examples? There is application of force. Now, right from the time we get up in the morning to the time we go to bed, we make use of force in so many ways. We use force in our day-to-day life for pushing, pulling, lifting, stretching, twisting, pressing, etc., etc. So, in very simple terms, if we have to define force, we can define force as a push or pull which is exerted on a body. Now, forces can be exerted by all the three kinds of matter. That is, force can be exerted by solid, liquid, as well as gases. We cannot see force. Has anybody seen force? No, force cannot be seen. But we can see the effects of force acting on an object. Force apply होने के बाद उस ऑब्जेक्ट पर फोर्स का क्या असर हो सकता है वो हम जरूर देख सकते हैं. So now in this topic we are going to study the effects of force on an object. Let's take an example. A book is kept on a table. Now is the book moving? No, it is stationary. Now is there any force acting on the book? Yes. When the book is kept on the table, the book is exerting a downward force of action on the table. At the same time, the table is also exerting an opposite force of reaction on the book. Now, can the book move on its own without any application of force? No. It's only when we apply an external force, यानी बाहरी force apply होने के बाद ही ये book motion में हो सकता है या motion में जा सकता है, isn't it? So when we apply force on the stationary book, it will move. So what is the first effect of force? A force can move a stationary body. A ball is kept on the ground. Is it in motion? No, it is stationary. That is, it is not moving. So what has to be done in order to set it in motion? Yes, of course, a force has to be applied on the ball. So when force is applied on any stationary object, doesn't it go into a state of motion? So what is the first effect of force? An applied force can set an object at rest in motion. A force can stop a moving body. A car is moving on the road, and if this moving car has to be stopped, a stopping force has to be applied on the car by application of brakes. A cyclist is pedaling his bicycle. If he wants to stop his bicycle, once again he has to apply brakes. So he is applying a force on the brakes, thereby bringing it to a stop. A ball is kicked by the footballer. If the ball has to stop, then if another footballer tries to apply a stopping force on the ball will come to a state of rest. If not, then the ball will cover a certain distance, and because of the force of friction which will be exerted by the ground, the ball will stop. So, a force can stop a moving body. A force can change the speed of a moving body. That is, the speed of a body can be increased or decreased by applying force. If a cyclist wants to increase the speed of the bicycle, he can pedal faster. Whereas, if he wants to go slowly, then he can apply brakes on the moving bicycle. Thereby, the speed of the bicycle will decrease. If a driver wants to increase the speed of the car, he can do so with the help of the accelerator. And if the driver wants to decrease the speed of the car, he can do so by applying brakes. So, a force can change the speed of a moving body. Force can change the direction of a moving body. If a car is in a state of motion, and if the car is moving along a straight path, and if the driver wants to change the direction of the car, he can do so with the help of the steering wheel. That is, force is applied on the steering wheel. So, a force can change the direction of a moving body. A bowler throws the ball towards the batsman, and when the batsman applies force on the ball with the help of the bat, the direction of the ball changes. So, a force can change the direction of a moving body. A force can change the shape and size of a body. If we take a spring and stretch it, we find that the shape and size changes. So what have we done here? We have applied a pulling force on the spring when we are stretching it. If we take clay and if we just press it, we find that its shape changes. So once again here there is application of force and the shape of the clay changes by applying force. A can is taken and the can is hit with the help of the hammer. So what are we seeing here? That the can gets a dent. So the shape of the can is changing by applying force. Take a sponge and squeeze it. What is happening by application of force? The shape of the sponge has changed. So a force can change the shape and size of a body. So let's sum it up. What are the effects of force on a body? A force can move a stationary body. A force can stop a moving body. A force can increase or decrease the speed of a moving body. A force can change the direction of a moving body. A force can change the shape and size of a body. So now let's define force as per physics. Force is a physical quantity. What is a physical quantity? Any quantity that can be measured is called as a physical quantity. So since force can be measured, force is a physical quantity. Force changes or tends to change the state of rest or of uniform motion of a body. What does this statement mean? That whenever force is applied to an object which is in a state of rest, what will happen to that body? It will change the state of rest and set that body in a state of motion. And if a body is in a state of motion, then the applied force can stop that body or increase or decrease the speed of the body or change the direction of the motion of the body. So force changes or tends to change the state of rest or of uniform motion of a body, and the direction in which the force is exerted is always along the straight line. Now force is a vector quantity because force possesses both magnitude as well as direction.